I'm Doug Westcott. I'm a live looping solo artist out of Houston, and I've been looping for the last 8 years. Today, I'm going to show you how to take any song and compose it into a live version so that you can play it on a loop, or how I compose it. And I'm going to show you with an example of The Finest Whiskey. It's a song I have coming out May 6th. So there are 5 steps to composing a song that you want to play live. Number 1 is identifying the key elements. 2 is recreate those sounds. 3 is map the loop layout. And 4 is map the track sequence. And 5 is map out the performance. And it's really overwhelming at first, but if you break it down into these 5 steps, you won't have any problem with it. So let's start with step 1, identifying the elements, the key elements in the song. Let's take a listen.
I'll never forget that face you made. It was just one look, but the whole vibe changed.
Okay, so we have piano, obviously. We have bass, we have a synthesizer, we have the kick drum, we have the snare, we have the hi-hats, we have a little bit of white noise, and we have a cymbal swell. Step 2, recreating those sounds. Keys, a little bit of bass. Closest thing I've found to a synth is a combination of a booster pedal and a compressor at the same time. That gives it this kind of sound. Kick drum, and the snare is a combination of and. We have the hi-hats. We have a little bit of white noise. And we have a cymbal swell, which is usually for transitions. There, we did it. We recreated those sounds. Now that may look easy, but that would literally take all day to find the perfect sound by messing with your pedals or whatever you have to use. But now that we got it, we're gonna move on to step 3, okay? Mapping out the loop layout. For this, I'm using the Boss RC 600, which has six different loop tracks. I was using the 300 and I only had 3, so now it has 6. So you have a lot of options. Let's dig into it. All right, step 3, mapping out the loop layout. Basically, you need to itemize each element and where it goes on each loop. Okay, well, this is verse 1. Well, in verse 1, what's happening in verse 1? Well, there's piano, there's guitar, and there's synth in verse 1. Okay, well, what about the pre-chorus and the chorus? There's piano, guitar, synth, bass, snare. This is verse 1 and 2. All the verses is track 1. Of course, here's the pre-chorus and chorus, and then here's the beat. So either the verse and the beat will always be playing, or the chorus and the beat will always be playing. These other 3 are just transition, something to transition to, some hi-hats for some added texture, and a piano transition that plays mostly throughout the whole song. The blue is the parameters, so the verses only last 8 measures before it has to repeat, so this is an 8 measure loop. This is a 2 measure loop, this is an 8 measure loop, 4 measures, 8 measures, and a half measure. And the reason it's a half measure is because that's part of step 4. You'll see when we get to step 4. Step 4, in my opinion, is the hardest one, mapping out the track sequence, because this is where anybody could loop this song, but it would take them 5 minutes to get the whole loop going. You want to make that as short as you can. So in what order can you record this whole thing the fastest? And try it in every single different order, because the people get bored when you're sitting there recording the loop for 5 minutes. You need to know how to get it done in 2. Spend time rearranging your loops and how you record them in the order you record them to make them the fastest as possible so that the audience doesn't get bored. Once you've got the fastest recording you can get, your loop set up as quick as you can, you're ready for step 5. Step 5 is mapping out the performance. Mapping out the performance depends on how deep you want to go. You listen to the song a million times and learn what pedals need to be pressed when the verse is playing, what pedals need to be pressed when the chorus is playing, and how you're going to get there, and if you have enough time. Okay, so here we have track 1, 2, 3. If I press this button, now it's track 4, 5, and 6. So I'm going to press it back to 1. Now, verse starts off with track 1 and track 6. Then we add some piano, hi-hats for some texture. Now we stop, track change, pre-chorus. Now this is the transition, so we're gonna go ahead and start it. And this is the kick, remember? Here comes the chorus. That's the chorus. And when it's time to go back, we're gonna let the transition play. Stop the chorus. Track change, verse. Now if you really want to get fancy with it, whenever you're playing the chorus, let's go back to the chorus. So we got stop, track change, chorus. Now, if you really want to get crazy, hold this down to go to the effects. Watch this. That's something new that I just found. It's called twist. If you're looking for it in the settings, it's called twist. Watch, here it comes one more time. Anyway, that is the finest whiskey. That's just running through it a million times, which you do through rehearsal anyway. So it's basically rehearsing the song a million times. But rehearsal doesn't just mean, oh, how do I once I get the loop set up, that's fine. Because when you're in front of an audience, everything changes. Nerves kick in and you think you have it, but you don't have it when it's live. So after you rehearse and get it down to where you don't have to think about it, then start thinking about, okay, is there a point in the song where I can go to the side stage and interact with the audience over there? Is there a point in the song where I can go over to this side of the stage and interact with the audience over there? You have to think of the performance, not just the loop. So that's my method. That's how I create songs from scratch to finish. And don't forget to listen to Finest Whiskey. It comes out May 6th.